Uh, yeah, I'm waiting on a bing. I didn't hear the bing, but I'm waiting on it. Then we'll get started. All right, there it is. The 19 Report is live. Thank everyone for tuning in. This is Jamil Salib Zamir out of Manning, South Carolina, coming to you with another timely topic, actually, several topics we got to talk about today because today is the 94th birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So we want to say happy heavenly birthday to Dr. Martin Luther King. And I want to remind everyone that the reason that he was murdered, the reason that he was assassinated, was that he was starting to build an economic plan for our people that if we couldn't be a part of your society, we were going to build our own society with our own money, doing our own thing. And that became a problem. It had nothing to do with him talking about black and white getting along. That was going to happen anyway. Black and white folks were going to get along eventually, those who were meant to be together because God said so. It says in the Holy Quran that I made you into different tribes and families so that you would know one another and not hate one another. That was already ordained. And it said it in the Bible that God created all people to get along together. All of that was already written. So it was going to happen anyway. That's not why the man was assassinated. He was assassinated because he saw the importance of group economics. He saw the importance of black empowerment. He saw the importance of community. He saw the importance of taking our dollars and building community stores and banks and things of that nature. And anytime a black man decides that he's going to do something like that or encourages people to do something like that, he becomes public enemy number one. Anytime a black man has a voice to say, I can unite my people, he become public enemy number one. It happened to James Brown when he was having the rally, when he was having a concert when Dr. King died, and he controlled the people by telling them to calm down and get off the stage. They said that James Brown was a hindrance to white empowerment. So he was under police investigation after that point. We got so much to talk about today. This is Jamil Salib Zamir out of Manning, South Carolina. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. And then we're gonna go to our intro. I think I'll do telling it like it is today. And then we're gonna get into the show. So please stay tuned. Tell me like it is, and not like it was. Tell me like it is, and not like it was. All right, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. If you will tune in, whenever you will tune in, we're broadcasting live on 3 platforms on Facebook, on the 19 Report, The Music Man, and also Jamil Salib Zamir. We're also broadcasting live on Linked and broadcasting live on YouTube if they have allowed me to stream again because they evidently had an issue with a poem that I wrote entitled Nigger. And so they kind of shut my page down for a minute. And we also broadcasting on Twitter, and then I am on hey Jay, what's going on, man? What's going on? My brother-in-law, how are you, sir? I can't see the name. And then you got integrated legacy group. What's happening? Thank y'all for tuning in. For some reason, when I look at the algorithms, I see that y'all don't stay on for about 5 minutes, so y'all don't really get the message that I'm trying to convey. But I thank you for tuning in for the time being. I appreciate that. But I also would like for you all to learn to appreciate other than educated people or who you presume to be educated. I like for you to appreciate people that aren't as lettered as others. Although I do have a lot of degrees on the wall, there's certificates and other things, and I'm about to get another one by God's permission if I live long enough. I hope that you will begin to share this information because if you don't share it, it won't get past the social media algorithms because I have been banned in a lot of places, but my main focus is right here in South Carolina. And I thank all, according to the algorithms on Facebook, my largest audience are females in Manning, South Carolina, and I appreciate that. Thank you all so much. Please continue to like and share. If you like what I have on today, this is our military gear. This is the gear of the Muslims. Many of you know that I have been a follower of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad since 1980. We had a falling out with the hierarchy because we were very disrespected and abused. And we had almost from Summerton to King Street to Manning to Sumter to Columbia to Charleston, we had over 200 members of the Nation of Islam. We had a huge brotherhood. We were the only people that they would allow to go into the King Street school system and talk to the troubled youth in the school system. We had a key to the city. We were the only group on the Big DM on Sunday mornings. Brother Roderick, our minister at the time, we were the only group on the radio every Sunday morning. The minister was on the radio every Sunday morning. So we had a huge following and we had a huge group, and we still have it. We broke apart. Some went back to the street. Others did other things, but we are still soldiers together. And if I call, they coming. And if they come, it's for a reason. And they ain't leaving until the reason is fixed. So we don't call each other for petty things. We call each other when it's necessary. So I thank all of you for tuning in. This was always one of my most favorite bow ties because I think I made this bow tie. I used to make bow ties and sell them. It's crooked. But I think this one I made. And so I like it. I don't know what the oh, there we go. I'm sorry. So that's my bow tie. It was crooked. We got a lot to talk about today. I'm hoarse because unfortunately, man, things are happening around our area and people are just not standing up for the right things. And if you are a family man, if you love your family, if anyone tries to intimidate your family, that's live or die. That's a live or die situation. That's a die or kill situation. And I don't know what person would do that besides someone that is not well mentally to think that their family is more important than your family. Uh, Goliath in the Bible was a giant, but he wasn't just a giant like a big person. He was a giant because everybody gave him their power. Everybody thought he was the person. Nobody could touch him. Nobody could beat him. Look at him. He's great. And so they backed him, whether he was right or wrong. They backed him. Goliath was a bully. Today's bullies are Goliaths. But the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that all you need is 5 smooth stones, and you can destroy any Goliath, because that's all that David had. But we're taught that those 5 smooth stones had written on them, in the name of God, in the name of Allah. Call on God and then put the work in. And then live or die, you die on that. All I pray for. And I'm hoarse because I was praying so hard last night till I actually saw a physical vision of my father in front of me. Because I was so angry and hurt. I was brokenhearted over a lot of things. And I'm going to tell you some of those things today. Why I'm brokenhearted. And the reason I'm telling you this is because whoever gets the attention in Manning, we follow. We're so weak and so soft and so want attention that whoever is the person at the top is who we justify and follow. You don't follow right. You don't follow what's God's word. You see a person perched up on a limb and you say, oh, he's somebody, she's somebody, I'm going to follow them. And the minute they fall, you look for the next God. Bible talks about it. That we look for gods. The people, when Moses left to go get the commandments, they made a God. One that couldn't even talk. The Bible, the Quran says that that the prophets and messengers used to worship the sun. And when the sun went down, they realized that couldn't be God because God doesn't leave. I'm a coward without God. I know that. And I love that. God makes me a soldier. And I'll be that for the rest of my life until I die. But I got a son, and he got to protect his mama. So I got to die like a man or leave. And I got to kill like someone who loves their family or leave. I'm no killer. I don't want to die before my time, but it's some things you got to sacrifice. And Allah says He's going to try us with something of loss, of death, of loss of money, of loss of mind. And we got to deal with that. I'm talking today. We got a heavy subject to talk about today, but this is the opening. And I hate that you all don't stay on and listen, or at least come back and listen. You think I'm just rambling on. You think I'm just some nut. But there's nothing that God has given me from 1980 to now that didn't come true. I saw my mama die. I saw my brother die. I saw my sister die. I saw myself. I thought that I died, but it wasn't my time yet. I saw my children be consumed by the world, even though I kept them in church and in the mosque. And while they were in the mosque, when we left the mosque and study group on Friday, they were gangbanging. Now one of my middle sons is so addicted to fentanyl that he went through withdrawal so bad last night that he throwing up and defecating on himself and just a mess. And I told them, don't ever get yourself addicted to anything. I'm coming to a point on this 94th birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King, and also the birthday of several people in Clarendon County. I think today is Judge Dingle's birthday, or several other people. We just came from an NAACP meeting at Trinity Church. It's why I'm dressed like this. But I wanted to come on, and my voice is gone because I was yelling so loud last night. I'm just so tired. And I'm telling you, I know I had a nervous breakdown last night, but I told you once before, when you press a man to a point, he will kill you. And anybody that deals with you and likes you, he will kill you. A lot of times we look at the person who pulls the trigger and think they're horrible. But it's the people who made them pull the trigger that are horrible. It's the people who know that something is going wrong and don't speak out. Dr. King says silence is consent. If you're not speaking out against it, then you for it. And I watched this place we call Sugar Hill sit silent as me and my wife sit and fight, and they don't fight. They act like ain't nothing wrong, but when we leave and ain't nobody else fighting, you'll see. All of you will see when we're gone, because you got no backbone. You got no heart. You talk God, but you're not with God, because God is love. I'm sorry I lost my voice last night, but I was calling out to God like a man out of his mind. I snapped. I know I did. And if it wasn't for God's mercy to hold me in place, I would be on the news this morning. Or I would be on the news for murder, or I would be on the news because I'm dead. I don't like people to press innocent people because you think you're so tough. I don't like tough people. Why you ain't that tough and fight for your community and fight for your family? Why you got to be so tough for something else? I'm breaking. I'm telling you, if something happened within the next month, don't you think Jamil is crazy? But sometimes you got to stand up, man, and you got to put your back to the wall, and you got to bang out like you out of your mind. And I'm ready, I think. by God's permission, because my daddy told me. I saw him. I cried out to him. I'm not going to let you down, Daddy, because you died with people thinking you were nothing. And I'm your last son. I'm the last one, and I ain't going out like no sucker. My father had a problem with alcohol. I never touched it. Had a problem with cigarettes. I never touched them. Had a problem with not showing up. I don't even know what his voice sounds like, but I ain't never leave my family. Everything that he taught me from example. He taught me by breaking my heart. Y'all got to hear what I'm telling you today now. And for 34 years after my father was murdered by his brother, nobody put a tombstone on his grave. And he called out to me when I was on my deathbed with my heart wide open. And I asked God to keep me alive long enough to put a stone on my father's grave. And he kept me alive. And I raised that money by God's permission. And I put that stone after 34 years because nobody cared. But I'm going to stand up for my daddy. And I'm going to show the best example that a man can be because the world broke him. But you ain't going to break me. You ain't going to break me. You talking about a demon, I'll show him to you. I'm breaking. Y'all are breaking me because I've been too nice. All of you. I'm going to call your name out because I want you to come and face me. Face me. Don't be a chump. Don't be a punk. I'm not crazy. I'm not out of my mind. I'm very well in my mind, but I want you to understand, if you can be a demon, God can make me a demon too. Now I'm going to calm down. But the difference between you and me is that everybody that's talking about me to you are talking about you to me. But I don't tell. As God is my witness, I never tell the next man what the next man say, because I'm not like that. I don't carry that feminine nature. Understand me. I ain't upset. I'm sorry. Someone sent me this. Life is tough, but so are you. I want y'all to understand something. I tried to teach my sons. For those of you that don't know, you just listen to people. You just feel sorry for people. But I fought for my sons in court, a father. When my ex-wife decided she wanted the world over family, I fought for my sons, Kwame, Elijah, and Lil Key. And as I'm going through the court system by myself, ain't nobody walk with me. The judge was telling me, you wasting your time, you ain't getting no boys. They don't give no babies to no black man. But the secretary in the office told me, son, if God wants you to have them children, you're going to have them. And I went to that court. My sister, Pastor Fulton, was there. My sister, Tiny, God rest her blessed soul, was there. And they brought all these people in from summoning and even had my daughter to come against me. The judge said, none of them can come in the courtroom, just him and her. And I went in that courtroom and I won custody of my sons. I did that by God's permission. I don't remember none of y'all, you tough guys who doing everything now. I don't know y'all. It was me and God. Don't mistake my tears now. When I get angry, I cry. When I get angry, I bite my bottom lip. I lost my voice last night because somebody thought their family was more important than mine. And I'm telling you, I know I had a mental break. And if it were not for God, it would have been bad. Y'all would have seen me on the news this morning. I know it. Either I would have been dead or I would have been accused of killing so many people. Y'all just don't know. Stop being bullies. Stop it. Stop thinking that your family is more important than the next man's family. I respect everybody. I want y'all to understand that. But my father had problems. My father, at a at an early age, sometime in his life, he saw white people lynch a black man in a barn. I remember him talking about it. And that broke him. It broke him. He was broken. He was frightened in his soul. He couldn't fight right. So he did the liquor, he did the party, and he did all the stuff that y'all do, and he did that. He left home. All I remember my father for is beating on my mama and bringing people to the house, and the blood just, they start out good and they start drinking that liquor. And then the next thing you know, they shooting and they cutting and they fighting. And I'm running out of the house terrified. I remember that. I remember the Ku Klux Klan coming through my neighborhood in King Street on Friday and Saturday night, and I'm wondering where my daddy is because we here by ourselves. He was never there. And maybe he was afraid. I understand that. I understand that. But everything in him, from the drugs to the alcohol and everything else, I fought it. I fought it all my life. My brother couldn't fight it. My brother died from alcohol. It destroyed his eyes. It destroyed his liver. It destroyed his kidney. It destroyed him. So I used to tell my sons, y'all got addictive personalities. You can't get addicted to nothing. You can't fall in love with nothing of a substance. You can't. But they went opposite of me. And one night I was in a deep sleep and I was dreaming. I thought I was, but I woke up and I saw my son Kwame. He was a little boy, maybe 5. He was so smart. And there were 3 shadow figures in front of him. And they were after him, and I stood in front of him to block him. And they went right through me. I felt the energy and they went right to him. And to this day, he's a warrior from his soul, but he's fighting demons. It was 3 of them, and I didn't even think that one went to him, to Elijah, and to Lil, but all of them, all of these warriors, the world took them from me. And I got Brandon and Travis and Zion. I have 6 sons. And I fought with them to try to keep them on track as well. But most of the time, they don't care whether you live or die. I'm saying this for a reason. We got other topics to talk about, but I wanted to say this. I am the last of my father's sons. So I behave and conduct myself as Willie James Wilson's son. I love my father. He sacrificed his life. Love your father. Love your mother. No matter what they have or don't have, love them. So, my son, if you are really a sincere prayer warrior, what they call you, I pray you pray for my son. He's fighting fentanyl addiction. And I didn't just talk about it now. I did a 6-part series, 8-part series on fentanyl addiction. Then I went out and got the Narcan. Then I went out and I talked to counselors and I did the work because it's coming. They just bust a big bus with back. Your people are wanting to kill you for $1. These young people have no connection to their past. They will kill their people for $1. Nigga this. I can't say that word. They block me when I say it. The N word this, the N word that. They don't care. You are of no value. We have no respect in our communities for each other. We got nothing. I'm telling you this for a reason. Now I'm going to get on elected officials and people in positions of authority. God is going to sit you all down, especially the black ones. Because when you got the power and the position, your job was to look out for your people first. I don't know if constituents is the right word. Instead, you got so happy that you somebody, quote unquote, that you forgot about your people. And for 5 and 10 years, you stayed up with the upper echelon and y'all looked down on the community. Y'all did that. School teachers, principals, senators, mayors, y'all did that to us. But God is turning the tables now, and you saw it in this election because your people ain't voting for you. And they're saying if it ain't nobody but them, I ain't voting. So they're not, I don't care what you say now. You've proven that you are a liar now. I don't care what you raise for this and that. You're acting like our school system is one of the best. It is not. It is not turning out competitive students. The only people who are competing in the South Carolina school system are those with desire. Desire to be better. They're not being encouraged to be better. They're already better. So you snatch them up and say, look at what we produce, but it's only 1 or 2 or 3. All right. See, you all think a person raised their voice is crazy. You want somebody that's talking like Joel Osteen. How's everybody? Hope you're doing good. Hope you love the Lord. And those are the crooks. Those are the one that's snatching your life from right up from under you and talk love. God is love. God and love is love. But they don't love you. They could care less about you. But because they're smiling and you think that Jesus Christ is a smiling jackass, you love that. But if someone raised their voice, oh, he's angry. He's an angry man. No, I'm not angry like you think. But I will tell you this. There are people in South Carolina. Listen, man, I came out of the hospital off of a table with IV bandages still on my arm, and I help people do things that they weren't able to do. I get no thank you for that. Nobody mentions my name, and you know why they don't? Because when it's time to take pictures at events that I'm a part of, I don't take no pictures with nobody. I'm the one taking the picture. So you think there's only one person there, and we are testicle riders. So when someone is popular, we ride with them, and we love to be seduced and finessed. The Bible says in Thessalonians, tell us lies, say good things, don't tell us no truth. So people don't want to be with a truth teller. They want to be with a finesser. But finessing only lasts for a little while. You'll see. I have no desire to be a part of anything but with my brotherhood, the Muslims. If you have no respect for that, then so be it. I respect Christians. I respect Moors. I respect Hebrew Israelites. I respect 5%ers. But if you got a problem with the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, then that's your problem. That's what raised me. We are taught in the Quran to protect the Christian church, those who are teaching God's word. We are taught to protect the righteous. Where y'all get off saying that a person got to be this, or that to be right? That's talk of an imperialist, of a colonialist, of people who go to poor African nations and say, I give you this water if you accept Jesus Christ. Why I got to accept Jesus Christ if you came on a mission? Give me the water. All right. I think I'm done. But this political season is going to be different. I don't care if it's Republican or Democrat, gay or bi or lesbian or whatever, but we're going to hold you all to task because you all have used us enough knowingly. You've given us a little bit knowingly. You are like our family members who go to the city and come back looking down on us instead of coming back and teaching us what they know. And the only people that are coming back from the cities teaching what they know are gangbangers. That's why the gangs are so tough, because they're getting all of the scoop and score from the cities, Alabama, Chicago, all of these places. But y'all ain't coming back and giving us nothing. You coming back playing a game. Look at my big house. Look at what I've got. I've got a Corvette and a sling, and I got this. Not my brother-in-law, John. John is a good guy. I didn't drive his bike. He let me keep his bike for a week. I done drive his slingshot, and if I ask him to drive his Corvette, he'll let me do it because we're family. Because every time he can trust me and he knows he can, and I can trust him. That's different. I don't want y'all thinking I'm throwing no slangs. I ain't throwing no sideways comments. Let's move on. This political season is going to be different. But you named the event from stop the violence to domestic violence. You name them. Jamil was there. And the audacity of you all to talk about. I've been on shows, Shop Talk, all these different shows. I've been on all these shows. So the audacity for you all to talk about me like I'm nothing, like I'm nobody. I'm a has been. I'll never be a has been, even when I'm dead, because Allah says so. Because I'm true to what I say. Because I don't kiss nobody's behind. I don't hang off nobody's testicles because they got the spotlight. I love the underdog. I am David. Y'all be Goliath. I want God in the name of, I want the 5 smooth stones. Now we're going to leave that. To all the people who have died and been in, someone has been in a car accident today, God bless him. I wish we can get to the root of what it was. Was it an accident? Someone caused it? Was it drunk driving or what? So we can speak to the issue properly. I don't know, but I wish we can get to the bottom of it. On January the 12th, I think around the 12th last week, at least 9 people were killed in tornadoes. I'm going to try to put this up on the screen if I can. Yeah, I'm going to put it bigger because I ain't need to be that big. Let's put it a little bit bigger. I'll be smaller. Tornado breakout. I mean, it was just horrible. A lot of people died, and as a member of the Red Cross, we were called to go to Atlanta, Georgia, if we could, and also to go to Alabama, but I'm not able to go. Uh, but it was horrible. It's horrible to think about losing everything, but everything is for a reason. And the pain of the moment, of course, we want to know why. I didn't even expect to play. Of course, we want to know why. So I'm asking everyone. Oh, and in Atlanta too. The storms hit Atlanta as well, but it destroyed Alabama, parts of Alabama. A lot of lives lost in the process. So I'm in the process of taking a lot of courses with the Red Cross, and I thank them for allowing me to be a part of that. I just got my vest the other day, and I felt so happy about it because we have to be people who not only talk about it, but be about it. I'm also a member of the county council here in Manning. I'm also a member of the NAACP and here in Manning as well. I join things to learn. I sit at the back. But my biggest desire is to rekindle my connection with ministry. I want to go back into ministry as a Muslim. I was the minister in Sumter for a while and the youth coordinator there and the study group coordinator. So I want to go back into ministry too. And so I'm calling on the Muslim Brotherhood, all of the Moors and the Hebrew Israelites in the Brotherhood. Let's get back together. Let's go ahead and try to get our communities back, and let's create a force that people will know don't mess with us. Now I have brothers all over the state and the city, and they'll come if I need them to come. I promise you they'll be here, and vice versa. Some of them are Muslims, some of them are just stone killers. Some of them are street people and other things. But why we got to fight each other? We all got that. We all got shooters. But that is a waste of time. I hate even talking about it. It disturbs my spirit to think about killing another black man for what? It disturbs me. I think I covered everything. I don't want you all to think that I'm some nut. But I want you to understand that when Dr. King was on that balcony, if you look at the picture, everybody was smiling. This man had death threats on his life and nobody was paying attention. Jesse smiling, everybody smiling. Abernathy smiling, everybody smiling. And Dr. King takes a bullet. With Malcolm the same. Everybody running around crazy instead of on security when Malcolm was being killed. All of our leaders, uh, 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 oh, I can't remember his name right now, the Black Panther member, all of them being murdered because we got no security. I used to have brothers to ride from Sumter to follow me home, make sure I get home, stay outside of my house right across town until I get settled. Then they'll leave and check in on me. And when it was time for me to be on security for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the same Farrakhan that y'all see, I did security for him. In D.C., in Virginia, in New York, we did security. The same Minister Khaled that y'all always posting up was right across town in Manning, driving a black Rolls Royce with a gold grill. I was in the Rolls Royce. And we had a BMW Roadster, and we had a Land Rover. If what's my DC? If you can remember, we picked you up in the Land Rover and we put your bike on top of the Land Rover and we took y'all to Fleming and Delane's chapel where Minister Khaled was speaking there. If you remember, we did all of that. I ran with the Black Panthers. I did all of that. And I loved it. We had a group here called the Brothers. Some of you remember, some of you don't. I just want to point these things out because you never heard of Jamil. You don't know Jamil because I'm not in the spotlight. And once a person gets the spotlight, they forget about the people who helped them get the spotlight. Now all you see is their name everywhere. You never saw my name for 30 years, 35 years. You never saw my name plastered over everything. I was always in the background because I didn't need the attention. But I was the worker. I was working for free. Nobody paid me. And now these guys up here acting like they're going to save the world and leave me out. God ain't going to let you leave me out. Not this time. Not this time. I'm praying against it. You're not going to leave me out. I don't want nothing to do with none of you. I want that clear. But you know the things that you told me. And you told it to me about the people you hanging with, but you know I won't tell and I'll never tell. But boy, y'all sure can run y'all mouth like some women. And when you get called out, you get mad. Why are you mad? I have more of a right to be angry, but I'm brokenhearted. My heart is broken. How can y'all talk about me like that? How can y'all dog the brother like that? How can y'all leave his name out of your mouth when I got off my deathbed to help you all? How could y'all do that? You only showing your hand, Jack. Okay, then that's what it is. I ain't mad at you. I don't want to fight you. I don't want no smoke. I just don't want you to ever say another word to me ever, ever. And I'll do the same. I'm heartbroken. My heart's broken. But I thank my father and I thank my family. I thank my sister Tiny, God rest her soul, because she said so many things to me that I can't even say to the rest of the family. But she kind of gave me a position of where I was and who I was and how people saw me. And it made me so angry that I stopped talking to her for a whole 2 days. And when me and her stopped talking, God rest her soul, we don't talk for a month or so, but she came knocking on my door like 2 days later, leaning on the door with a look in her eyes like, I know he ain't gonna open that door, but Allah said, open the door. And she said, I got to talk to you. I said, come on in the office. We came right where I am. And she ain't tell me why. She just said, you need to find more family because when I'm gone, ain't nobody going to understand you like I do, Keith. Keefy Weefy, what she called me. And she was going to North Dakota to stay with her daughter. I ain't know nothing about no, but I got so angry. I said, "Why are you telling me this? Where you going? You ain't coming back?" She never answered me, but she came back here to die. In closing, when I was on my deathbed, when they just brought me back to life, I had gone through all of these different stages. I, it's like I was in Hawaii. I saw the palm trees. It was so pretty. I said, I want to stay here. But then something sucked me a woof. And I went up into the clouds, and then I was in the snow, and I said, "Oh, this is nice. It ain't cold. It's snow. I want to stay here." And then woof. And the next thing I know, I'm back in the operating room seeing these blurry figures. And I'm talking like I'm talking to you right now. I said, "Y'all finish?" I said, y'all not gonna cut on me no more now. And they're laughing. I said, "Y'all got everything done." That was the third operation on my heart. I said, y'all don't want no more. That's it now. And they were laughing, boy. They were tickled to death. But when I came out of that operation, how I'm talking to you right now is how I was talking. I lost my voice. And I realized that that was a part of the death process. You can't talk. So the last day I sat with my sister in her house, and they had prayed for her, and she was sitting down, and when she sat down, I could see the pain in her face. I'm telling you about death because some of you think because you lost somebody, you're the only person. You think you're the only one. I'm the only one. Y'all will never understand. Are you kidding me? I lost more than half of my whole family is dead. She sat down, and her voice went away just like mine is right now. It just went away. And I said, "Tiny, what's wrong with your voice?" She said, "I don't know, but I knew. I knew." She said, "I'm going to go get in the bed." And she went in the bed, and I followed her. She wouldn't look at me. I looked at her, and she looked up for a second, and the energy from her look threw me into the wall. I hit the wall, bam. And I started laughing. I said, "Whoa, I'm still off balance because I've still got stitches all in my chest." But I knew it was death. And when I went home that night, she, my sister protected me like nobody else, man. I'll forever be lonely because she's gone. She ain't did it in front of me. She waited till I left. And then they took her to the hospital. They told me she was in the hospital. I know she wasn't coming out, but I couldn't face it. So a few days later, I went to see her, and she was barely breathing. And I was getting ready to say, "Why y'all don't have no machines on her checking her heart?" But then it hit me. They ain't expecting her to leave here. And she was gasping for air. And you know what they give them when they're dying? To ease the pain of their body shutting down, they give them fentanyl, horse tranquilizer, to literally put them to sleep. And I didn't want to say a word to her because I knew if I said something, she would try to wake up. And as soon as I said something, she tried to wake. She tried so hard. I left, and my sister May was in the room with her when she stopped breathing. And they didn't want to tell me because they were afraid I was going to have another heart attack. And so my brother-in-law came, and he said, "I need to talk to Teresa. Somebody robbed a store or something." But I knew what it was. But they were looking out for me, and I appreciate that. You all ain't the only ones that experience death. You ain't in no special club. God bless you for what you've done and for what you do. But we can't let that fentanyl catch hold to our children. They are not going to get away from that thing. My son is in the hospital right now. And you got to take another drug to get off of that drug. I seen alcohol kill my brother. I seen my mother choose to buy cigarettes over seizure medication and watch her have a seizure because she didn't buy her Dilantin because she's busy wanting to smoke a cigarette. And during that period, black folks didn't have Medicare and Medicaid. So if we didn't have the money, we died. And that was in the 90s. So to my children and yours, this 2023, look up the number 23, look it up. I wish I had a phone with me or something where I could look it up. Let me see if I can find. Y'all know how I like to do. Let me do this and then we'll be done. Meaning of the number 23. It represents change, it represents progress, it represents an innovation. Change, progress, and innovation. The angel number 23 says success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. 2023 is going to separate the cowards from the men, the cowards from the women, from the cowards. All of that talking about what you going to do and what you going to be, we going to find out, because that world that you built on sand is crumbling. In terms of numerology, the number 23 signifies new beginnings, revolution, and transformation. That's 23. 2023 is the year. We're going to be tested this year. All of them great resolutions y'all talking about, we'll see. The politicians, y'all see how all of my commentaries come together? The politicians, all of that stuff you did to your people and they didn't know about, they're going to know about. Y'all see what's happening in the school system with Summoning and Manning and the neglect of the students and their concerns and how they got to switch up leadership now and put one teacher over here and one student over there, one principal over here, and one trying to fix a broken system that they will never fix. Because if you take a virus and take it out of your house and put it in another house, it's still a virus. That's all it is. So how people dress themselves up to look the part, act the part. Now it's crumbling. The house of cards is crumbling. The house built on sand is crumbling. This is 2023. It's happening right now. The giants got to fall. The people in the community that's causing trouble, they got to fall, man. If we got to fall with them, then everybody fall. Let's make a lot of noise. God, give me the strength to make a lot of noise. Those of you who are using drugs to be rich and great, I'm sorry. Jail time this year. It's on. You're going to see what these drugs that you sell and you don't see, you're going to see this year. You're going to see in your own house what you're doing. Look at your rappers, look at your producers and your entertainers. It's crumbling. Everybody dying, myself included. I got to go back to do another operation. I haven't been called yet, but there's an issue with my heart and they got to go back in and find out what it is. But people are dying, man. And I am grateful to God for the year that he gave me, because in a year I did more than most of you would do in your life. And I thank God for it. I got to spend time with my son. If y'all saw the pictures, we were at the house music festival. We ate good food. We spent time together. I enjoyed it. He tell me he love him, me and I love him. And before I had time to enjoy my time and come home and rest in my home, I come straight to trouble. Straight to trouble. Anyway, I thank all of you for tuning in. I'm not going to let any of you get away with talking bad about me no more. This is 2023. We bringing it to the front now. We coming out to fight. We going to make a lot of noise. A lot of noise. Now, what you all have told me in the past, talking about each other, don't worry. It's on the sealed lips. I don't move like that. I don't need to make nobody hate somebody else in order to like me. If you don't like me, don't like me. That goes for men and women. But don't talk about me. Spell my name right. 2023. To your children and to mine, this is where we are. The drugs are going to become so prevalent. If there's an incompetent leader, mayor, senator, you're going to find out how incompetent they are this year. Yeah. Council members, you're going to find out. clergy, you're going to find out. If they're not out in the community trying to straighten the community out, then they cowards. How many ministers talk about the violence and the drugs in the community? They don't. You know why they don't? Because their children are a part of it. My children are a part of it, but I talk about it because they don't hide nothing from me. They tell me what they doing. They just don't do it around me. They don't do it in my house. When they pull up on Sugar Hill, Millette Road, I tell them straight up, turn that music down. Old folks live here. Older people who have retired that have built this community and have helped. Do not disrespect them. That is number one as a father. Turn it down. Matter of fact, turn it off. Period. But some parents, oh, black, crank it up. I'll crank it up. I don't care. I don't care. See, everybody gonna get called out. I'm scared to death. My heart is in my underwear because this is the year of trials. And I know that without drugs, most of you can't handle it. Y'all be peeing and defecating and shaking and spitting and throwing up all day long because you can't handle nothing. But with drugs, you the best killer. Anytime fashion can make you feel like y'all wearing goddamn pro bass baseball caps because the person who killed young Dolph had on a pro bass hat. So you think because you got on a pro bass hat, you're going to be a better killer. A Pooh Shiesty mask. You're a better killer. You got to have a Draco to be a better killer. And I got the Draco. I got the stick. I got the stick. We are crazy people. And our downfall is our fault. And those of you who are educated and pumping yourself up and not helping your community in the right way, you should be ashamed. And God's going to hold you to task, Jack. If he could stop Moses from the promised land, then he can stop you too. And if you look, most of them are dying at an early age, heart attacks. I'm talking all the greats, heart attacks, strokes. God is coming. Tell the whole story or close enough to it or keep your mouth shut. It's 52 minutes in. I thank you for tuning in. This is Jamil Salib Zamir, Manning, South Carolina. Again, I ain't talking for y'all to like me. I want y'all to look in my eyes and understand that very clear. I don't care who you are, where you from. Your liking me was not there with me when I was going through surgery, when I was trying to get my children. And I didn't tell y'all that the police from Manning, Somerton, and Sumter were after me for strong arm kidnapping with a gun when I went to get my children. I ain't had no gun. But I do whatever I got to do for my family. And how they feel about it later on, they got to deal with it. I'm grateful that they have children because you're going to fall in love with them and they're going to break your heart. And you won't remember me, but you're going to feel the pain. So I'm glad. Keep on doing what you're doing. It ain't me that's making it happen. Allah is Akbar. God is the greatest. Jesus is his Christ. Every Jesus everywhere. If he white to you, then let that be so. But he black to me. I need a black Jesus. I need a God who understands black and white, not one who says you get something after you die. I don't know anything about that with the exception of what I saw when I was dead and I didn't understand it. Thank you all for tuning in. This is Jamil Salib Zamir out of Manning, South Carolina. 2023 is going to be so noisy. But I want you all to remember one thing. Just because it looks like a person did something horrible don't mean that they're the horrible person. See, evil people do things quiet. The devil whispers. He ain't loud. He whispers and makes you loud. Evil people do things on the low. The elite do things on the low and they push you out there to do it. The fentanyl is coming from China as a powder, going to Mexico as a powder, and then they bring it to you. And they make it into pills in Mexico and bring it to you, and the black folks sell it in the black neighborhoods because it's a quick dollar. $5 a pill, $10 a pill. A lady in Paxville called my wife in closing, called my young lady. She said, God led me to call you. She said, I don't know if you can help me or not, but God told me to call you. An older lady. This is a true story. She said, they keep breaking into my house in Paxville. Every time I leave, they breaking into my house, and I'm wanting to get some cameras up, and I don't know what to do or what to, and it just so happens I got connected with the lady through my wife, and we didn't talk first. She came by the store and said, you didn't call me back. And my wife put me on the line, and I talked to the lady and told her, yes, I'll come. I'll hook up the cameras. I told her what cameras to get. The lady started shouting in the store. She said, I knew God led me where I was supposed to go. Our elderly can't even have peace in their old age because the young want things that they don't work for, want to steal it, want to rob it, and are willing to kill. There was a 72-year-old lady that was murdered, and I talked about her. And you know what y'all say? Oh, that's so sad. But you do nothing because most of your children are the gangbangers. Most of your children are doing this on camera, pointing the guns and doing the fingers. You know it. You ain't crazy. But you think your child is special and it's okay for them to kill other people's children. It's okay for them to shoot up other people's houses. But then when yours die, you want the world to come out. Wrong is wrong, man. You can't play both sides of the fence. Wrong is wrong. And that's that. Whether it's me, my children, my wife, my son, wrong is wrong. And until we are able to stand up against wrong, God tested Abraham when he finally had a son by telling him, kill your son, just to see if you loved what I gave you more than you love me. Abraham obliged and was willing to kill his son. And when he was willing to do it in his soul, God said, never mind. There's a ram over there in the book. Kill that. Thank you. You proved to me that you would do what I say. There's a lady in the Bible who's her and another lady was saying that the child was theirs, and the man was about to cut him in half. And the one lady said, no, don't kill him. Just give him to her. Right there, you knew who the mother was. If you love your children, then stand up against their evil, because they're going to die. They have to answer for all the murders and robberies and stick-ups and beatings and crimes. And if you refuse to speak out against it, then you will be like Samson's parents. Read about them. They made excuses for Samson. Samson was chosen, but he kept going off the path. They made excuses for him. Thank you for tuning in. Jamil Salib Zamir, Manning, South Carolina. We are gone. Thank you so much. Praise Almighty God, Allah.
Tell me like it is, and not like it was. Tell me like it is, and not like it was.